Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of He Said, He Said, He Said, a look at the world from a seasoned Black man's perspective. I'm your host, Alvin King, and welcome to our August the 4th episode. Oh my God, it is August. We are actually in the final month of summer, ladies and gentlemen. Can you believe it? Oh, I'm telling you, it is really going by very fast. How's everyone doing tonight? Hopefully you're doing well. And again, welcome to our show tonight. DC is buzzing, 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 buzzing. And I don't know if anybody knows why, but if you don't, let me tell you. Beyonce has descended upon the nation's capital, ladies and gentlemen. And tomorrow night, Saturday and Sunday, she will be at FedEx Field. I actually heard that there are some tickets available, that they're like in the $300 range. So that means your head may be hitting the top of FedEx Field, but it's okay. You will be in the house if you're that, pressed to go see Beyonce. Ladies and gentlemen, please be safe out there and have a good time. Our show tonight is all about friendships, ladies and gentlemen. And the first Sunday of August is National Friends Day. That's right. So we decided that we would have a show about friendships. But before I move on, I wanted to tell you all about, National Friends Day. It actually started in 1935, and Congress declared first Sunday of August as this particular day. The idea of a day to celebrate our friends is not just an American one. It's celebrated all around the world, ladies and gentlemen. So please, I hope that you are here tonight to learn something about friendships, because we got something that we want to tell you. And if you're really wondering why we're talking about, friendships and why it's important, well, friendships is one of the best relationship bonds that people, share in the world. A good friendship is developed on the foundation of trust, loyalty, and in my opinion, safety and faith. And without love and emotions, no friendships can last. So we must make valuable friendships throughout our lives, ladies and gentlemen. So tonight we're going to be talking about it. We want you to weigh in. If you have any, thing that you want to say, please type it in the chat. And before I get on with the show, I wanted to talk about something that happened this week. For those of you who are not familiar with Henrietta Lacks, the estate of Henrietta Lacks settled with the biotech company for their non-consensual use of her cells in medical research. The family of Henrietta Lacks, a Black woman whose cells have been used for scientific research for decades, reached a confidential settlement this past Tuesday with the biotech company Thermo Fisher Scientific, of which the biotech company was pleased that they settled this particular way. Lack's family filed a lawsuit in 2021 against the company, arguing that it knowingly profited from Lacks's tissue sample and cell line. In 1951, Lacks was diagnosed with cervical cancer and had some tissue taken from her cervix without her consent during a procedure at the Johns Hopkins Hospital in Baltimore. And the sample was later used, ladies and gentlemen, to create a human cell line that can reproduce itself outside of the body, which is now known as the HeLa cells. These cells have been used to develop the polio vaccine, in vitro fertilization, gene mapping, advancements in cancer treatments, AIDS research, cloning stem cell studies, and even the COVID vaccine, ladies and gentlemen. When she died in 1951, after they removed her tissue, she was just 31 years old. In 2016, I got a chance to go to the African American Museum, and I got a chance to see Oprah Winfrey in her movie, The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks. It was a moment that I will never forget, but I want you all to, please read up on this. I'm going to take a moment to tell you to do that, because in my opinion, all of what she went through, a little bit of Henrietta Lacks lives inside of most of us, okay? And who knew that a Black woman was treated this way, ladies and gentlemen? So on August 1st, she would have been 103 years old. And I just want to celebrate Henrietta Lacks and kudos to her family for continuing to fight, for what was right and for what was stolen from their family. So, kudos to them. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, again, welcome to our Forever Friends show. And if we can, let's get on with the chat, please. What's going on?
Hey, gentlemen.
Hey,
Hello, TGIF, gents.
hey, Chris.
Good to see you both. I am just, I just want to say that the Henrietta Lacks thing is just really super important. I'm
Very
really happy that the family was able to be diligent and really fight the good fight and get compensation because, as you said, a little bit of Henrietta is in all of us.
Absolutely.
All of us. I
Mhm.
was actually when I mentioned seeing the movie in 2016. I had no idea she even existed.
Yeah.
And so that was the first time. And so since then, I've just, kind of watched the trial, if you
Mhm.
will, watch them fighting. So I'm glad that they have, they've come out victorious. So thank you. How you guys doing tonight?
Doing all right. I want to say one more thing on that because you
Hmm.
Yeah.
said that you weren't sure or aware that Black women were treated this way in medical history. And this does not even tip the iceberg in
Quite a
terms
legacy
of
of that. Yeah.
the way that Black women are treated and mistreated in the
Yeah.
medical industry.
Come on now.
So I just want to make
Being
sure that they stay
misdiagnosed, all of
diligent on that
Yes.
because, if you're a Black woman and going into a hospital, more than likely you're going to either A, be misdiagnosed, not listened to, your pain is going to be ignored.
Absolutely. Yeah.
We could do a whole show on that, but
Yeah.
I'm at
Yeah.
least happy that they have made headway and broken through some ice. So hopefully we can get better medical treatment for Black women and Black people in general.
Absolutely.
Amen.
Absolutely.
Amen.
Long legacy of distrust between the African American community, Black and Brown communities in general, and the medical profession. So, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So,
Before you get, hey, Blue, hey, Edgar. And is Edgar new? I don't think I've ever seen Edgar. Welcome to the
He
show.
Edgar is a friend of mine that I met in Roatan, Honduras. I've known Edgar now for, I don't know, maybe almost 17 years. And
wow.
he's tuned in a number of times. He's given
Welcome,
us
Edgar. It was good to see you.
mad kudos about a couple things. As a matter of fact, the day after we had Dr. Deborah on, where she told us to tell victims of male trauma that
Yes.
we believe them, the very next day, a friend happened to open up to him, and he knew after watching us to just simply say, "I believe you." So he's
Wow.
been a big fan ever since then.
Wow. Look at our show making a little difference here. Come on now.
Come on now. Come on
Hey,
now.
Carl.
Hey, brother-in-law. Hmm. So what else is going on with you guys?
Well, if we're going to talk about the chat, there is something that happened earlier this week that I want us to touch base on, and it was the brutal stabbing and murder of a young 28-year-old man by the name of O'Shea Sibley. O'Shea and his friends were actually at a gas station in Brooklyn, and they were just kind of celebrating, partying to Beyonce's Renaissance album. And O'Shea was a dancer, a professional dancer, and he was voguing out in the parking lot of the gas station. Apparently, there were some folks that are possibly affiliated with the station or there at the station who came out and started calling out gay slurs rather, and racial slurs. One of them even said, paraphrasing, that he was Muslim and he wanted them to stop dancing like that in front of them. Don't do that in front of us. It's offending us. Apparently, O'Shea continued to dance with his friends and celebrate. They weren't bothering anybody. They got into some type of argument, and ultimately O'Shea was stabbed and he died from the stabbing. And so it called into question, obviously, a hate crime. But I am pleased to very pleased to say that the suspect has been
Apprehended.
has turned himself in. He is in custody, and so hopefully the justice system will indeed hold him accountable, him and others accountable, for this very tragic end to a 28-year-old who, by all accounts of those who know him, held such potential and was such an incredible young man.
Yeah, this was a sad story to hear and follow all week. And one of my takeaways from this situation, um, I wasn't there. I don't know all of what happened, but the one thing I can say, this man's life, his life should not have ended. I can honestly say that. But
Yes.
I
Not-
also want to bring light to, I know I'm the biggest advocate of, I'm gonna tell you how I feel. But there are some times when you just have to just be quiet and and stop giving people power to, giving your power away to people. When people are like hurling these negative comments to you and stuff, sometimes you have to walk away because you don't know what's going on. And I feel like, again, I wasn't there, but something spewed and there was something. And it just made me, for me personally, think, Alvin, sometimes you just need to walk away. And if they feel a certain way about you, don't even entertain them. And I'm sorry that this man has lost his life because of some bull crap.
Ignorance.
Oh
yeah, all of it. Hate.
Ignorance. Yeah.
Hate.
That's all I have to say on that. Every time I hear it, I just get really sad about it. Sorry.
And again, it raises that whole question of what can we not do that puts us at peril? Being Black in a coffee shop, being Black asleep in a common room in a college, being Black selling water, being Black dancing. It just is a continuous attack on our existence. And when and where we find joy, how it has to somehow be offensive to others.
It is a mess.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, speaking of,
we speak his name before we go on. We speak O'Shea Sibley's name.
Let's speak O'Shea Sibley's name, and I hope that the truth of all is revealed, and I hope that we all learn a little bit of something from it. One, to give people grace and have space for people to be who they are on the planet, and Alvin, as you said, peace and wisdom to know when to just let people who are having their own moment have their moment and just move on and continue on with yours.
Exactly. And David just said something to that point. When they feel, what they feel, how they feel about me is none of my business. Walk away and just walk with God. And I certainly live by that, David. Thank you. I'm a man of faith, and so I just, because I just can't RSVP to every negative party. I just can't. But I'm sorry that he has lost his life.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, let's just jump on into another incident of supposed violence, people reacting and responding to things. Y'all know that Cardi B was performing on stage and apparently yelled out, she and the DJ yelled out, "Hey, splash us with some water because it's hot out here," et cetera, it's during the heat wave. Well, someone threw some water and apparently some ice hit Cardi B, and she responded by throwing her microphone the way that a mother would throw a shoe, with the accuracy. I mean, her accuracy. Our producer said she went all Thor.
Yes, I live for it.
And the thing is, the microphone was still on, so you heard it connect.
Yeah. In fact, someone said that they were going to tell their child that was the new Statue of Liberty.
And that was the night that the lights went out in Vegas, because she connected and someone filed suit. But just recently, the charges were dropped. The folks at Clark County were like, look, we're not moving forward with this. They said it was insufficient evidence, even though there was a videotape and apparently a bruise. They were like, look, there's insufficient evidence. We are not moving forward. But we're following up on this story, especially since it was like basically released and they're not going to press charges, because we've been following really bad behavior of audience members in concerts. And Cardi B is the first one who has retaliated and said, I'm not putting up with this nonsense.
Not doing it.
You were too close to Cardi B. I saw you and you're going to feel this. So,
and my thing was
emotions about it, because I'm like, she did request, because first when I first heard about it and saw the videotape, I was literally like, I am with Cardi B. If you throw something up on that stage, I'm coming back at you. But I then was informed that she had been asking people to throw water on her. So
she was she was singing her song, and she did say, it's hot out here, put some water on me, but she was it's part of the song. But the girl who threw the water on her had ice cubes in it. And the ice cubes is what hit her in the head. She said it felt like rocks.
She felt that through her weave.
She felt, boy, You know what? Right. That's Cardi B's story, and I'm sticking to that. Okay.
Okay.
All right. I'm sticking to that. But
And she will come and find
you
you
know,
and hit you if you don't. So just
okay, because the way Miss Thing took that mic and went from the right hand to the left hand and then threw it, I'm Team Cardi B. Okay, because she did that. But but look, speaking of fighting and again just standing your ground.
yes.
One of the things that's been rolling around for me this week is the Alpha Phi Alpha a fraternity joins a number of companies and organizations boycotting the state of Florida in protest of governor's extremist positions. The historic Black fraternity is pulling its 2025 conference from Orlando to protest the right-wing Governor Ron DeSantis' continued assault on minority companies, which includes new state teaching standards that forced labor was beneficial to enslaved people. The Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, projected to bring in $4.6 million in revenue, said the decision was to move its event from Florida, from Orlando, joining a growing number of companies and organizations boycotting the state. And it was to highlight DeSantis' harmful, racist, and insensitive policies against the Black community, as well as his controversial stance on slavery. Yep. DeSantis has signed laws gerrymandering Black voting districts and making it harder for minorities to cast ballots as well. Kudos, Alpha Phi Alpha. Okay?
Indeed.
Kudos.
I'm a member of Kappa Alpha Psi, but this Kappa, this noob, is very much in support of the move made by the gentleman of Alpha Phi Alpha.
Cool. Bobby, I got to share this with you because I just sat back and listened. I went to the Mabala DC tennis tournament that's happening in DC. Yeah. And I've gone a couple of days this week, and I'm sitting in a group of Kappas. Yeah. You guys just had your conference in Dallas.
In
Dallas?
It was in Florida.
Was it Florida? No, I thought it was Florida.
We were in Florida.
Okay, it was Florida. So that's why the conversation was like, one guy was like, the Alphas just came for us after we did it. And I was sitting there going, Alvin, you cannot contribute anything to this conversation. So you just need to listen and take it back to he said.
Oh, yeah. The thing is, anybody Alvin, you have done major events. Right. You know how far in advance things are planned.
Exactly.
And the reality of it is, I still believe that my fraternity brothers could have made a decision to pull out. But what I know is that if they had pulled out at the last minute in terms of that convention, it would have been at a hefty financial penalty in a lot of ways. And so given how far in advance that conference was in Florida, they obviously made the decision. I did not go. And others made the decision to not support it as well. But the Alphas have a year out. Because the reality of it is they were just in Texas, and Texas is right alongside Florida in terms of a lot of the legislation. So they literally just finished being in Texas for their convention. Yeah. But they did proactively say, and we're not then going to go to Florida in 25.
Yeah, it was very interesting to sit in that conversation, and I was just like, okay, I'm getting ready to leave because I like I said, I couldn't contribute anything, but what I can contribute to is our conversation tonight on Forever Friends. All right.
Absolutely.
Are you guys ready to get into the conversation? Vash, did you want to add anything about the Alphas before we move on and fraternities doing?
Or DeSantis and his movement. I mean, to watch the progression of, well, we just don't want to teach that because that's divisive.
Yes.
So we're just not going to teach Black history because it's divisive, to then go all the way to just say, well, we're going to teach it this way. We're not going to teach your Black history. We're going to teach Black history this way. It's like, I am so amazingly tired of watching people play games and not think that we are watching them play games in the field. Like, we have windows. We are watching you. What are you doing? The one thing that I'm very, very happy about is that there are more people with binoculars, spectacles, and things that are watching. And that move has emboldened so many people to stand up, to join the fight, to realize that there's a group of people that we just need to push into a corner and either reschool, re-indoctrinate, or eradicate. And I'm okay with that. and I'm okay with using that last word, eradicate.
All right.
Okay.
Well, Carl said something that I want to put up before we move on. He said that oppression of the minority by the majority can cripple us in living our true, authentic selves. They steal away our sense of safety, and we choose between safety and live our full lives. Amen, my brother. Amen. All right, guys, we need to talk about Forever Friends. Are you ready? Because I told y'all we got some special guests back there, and we want to bring them on, but we got to talk about a couple of things. So
Yes.
I'm gonna roll it off real quick, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you who are familiar with Aristotle, he said that there are three types of friends: friendships with utility that exist between you and someone who's useful to you in some way; friendships of pleasure that exist between you and those whose company you enjoy; and friendships of the good are based on mutual respect and admiration. So, based on Aristotle's theory, would you, Bobby or Vash, agree or disagree this defines a true friend? He left some stuff out for me.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's very simplistic. I think that it does cover some of the bigger things, but friendships of utility to me don't necessarily equate to being two-way streets.
Yes.
For me, a friendship should be a two-way street. I should be able to depend on you. I mean, not even depend on you, because that's coming in with expectation and need. There should just be a vibe where we are connected, and you get to be you, I get to be me, and we get to support each other in ways that go beyond what we expect
relationships to go.
I just want to say hey to JJ, who was saying hello to everybody.
Jay is doing his thing. He gives us all individual hellos, and I appreciate the love, Jay. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, guys.
I would say for me, Alvin, it's a little bit of semantics for me in my head, in the sense that I think that when someone is really your friend, in most instances, they can embody a little bit of all of those things and other things as well. I think what Aristotle has described in my mind and in my life are kind of like associates, because I think that there is a difference between people that I am associates with, or there are people for whom my relationship with them is based upon work that we do together, or it's like we don't go out, we don't call each other, it's literally based upon business transactions of that nature. There are people for whom, in terms of the for pleasure one, like people who you know what, if Vash is going to be at a party, I'm usually not going to go. I mean, no, I'm certain, no, because he's no fun and he's going to pick on me. That's what I know is going to happen. So, but if Alvin is there, I know it's going to be a good. So in seriousness, there are people, though, I do believe, that have some distinctions around those things. But if you're my friend, the reality of it is you could, at given situations, kind of embody multiple aspects of what Aristotle has described.
Yeah, I just think that was a general. I used it just to bring us into the conversation, but very general as far as I'm concerned.
Yep.
Well, then let me ask, what characteristics do you guys look for in friends?
Oh my God, with me, it's all about chemistry and energy. When I meet a friend, you know what I'm saying? It's definitely about the chemistry and their energy, because I can be chemistry and energy first, and if you're cute, that also might make me come over, and you might have on something that's cute.
Instead of friend.
Well, my friends are cute.
I like that.
Okay. So you know what I'm saying? So that but seriously, that's a little, I was kind of clowning on the cute part, but definitely energy and chemistry.
Yeah.
Because if I'm on the dance floor and you come up and you dancing to my beat, chances are we're gonna be friends.
I think for me, and this may sound a little bit Pollyanna-ish, but it's just the truth. Like, I look for nice people. Like, I don't like being around people who are not nice. I don't like being around people who are catty. I don't like being around people who are jealous of other people's success. Like, I just, nice is big for me. Like, that you lead with love is big. Like, I don't, I'm not, when I say this, it does not come with judgment, but it just reinforces what I'm saying. I don't watch things like Housewives of pick any of those cities, because I just see those relationships as being really toxic. You don't treat people that you care about, and you're not throwing drinks in people's faces and turning tables. And I'm like, if that's what you no,
That's TV,
so
Bobby.
for me,
Yeah,
That
those aren't even really friends.
that's not even real friends. So no,
Mhm.
that's TV. But in terms of, can I just challenge what you just said about you want them to be nice? So here you are, you meet someone in a grocery store, and you guys are in the you know, you don't know each other, but you know, here's that, you know, that friendly vibe chemistry, and you guys
no.
are in the fruit section, and you guys look at the same fruit, and you start a
Why we gotta be at the
conversation.
fruit
Huh? Because that's where we shop first. We don't go to canned goods. We go to fruit first.
All right,
And
okay, so
so,
we're
and I'm just saying. So, how do you determine whether or not that they're like nice at that moment? Is there something that you see at that moment and that's what takes me back to chemistry and energy.
well, at that point, they're not my friend. They're an
But
associate. Like we're getting to know one another. That friend, I don't give a friend status to somebody day one. Like we're getting to know one another. We become friend. Friendship is something in
got it.
my life you grow into.
Got it. Okay. All right. Sorry. Okay. Thank you. Good comeback.
We have a bunch of different comments in here. So David said the dependency should be equally through the instant vibe, forever friendships.
Yep. So we're talking about friendships, and we kind of distinguish that whole thing with associates and so forth. Do you guys feel comfortable with a certain set of friends? Like, do you think it's possible to have too many friends? You know, what's your feeling about that? Do you focus more on a tighter circle of friends? Do you have kind of like, you know, an abundance?
Vash, were you going to say? Because I have to put my friends in category. I have my core group of friends. And the way I categorize that, these are the persons that when I'm laying on a hospital bed, I'm going to wish that they are standing beside me holding my hand. Okay. And then I have my friends that I see at circuit parties. I love to see them at circuit parties. They give my energy is through the roof. You know what I'm saying? Those are my friends. And I call them, I know we're going to talk about, but I call them seasonal friends. I see them when but in terms of my core, that's a very specific group of people, you know. And so again, the way I measure that is, will they be at my hospital bed when I need someone to hold my hand?
And Mike raises a very good question, Vash. I know you're going to ask the question, but it says online friends make this question a lot more difficult. And I know we're going to be touching base on that.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, because it's very different. I mean, you know, there are different types of friends, right? You have good, close friends who, supersede all kinds of these different categories. But there are certain friends that you maybe go to the movies with and potentially hang out with. There's other friends, you know, that you do other things with. We're gay men. There's certain friends that we have that we may just have, relations with, and then other things. So we get to compartmentalize our friends. But in terms of people who know a lot about me, that I interact with a lot, that, as someone said, you may go a long time without seeing, but when you reconnect, it is as if you've never had any time apart.
Yep.
Those types of friends, first of all, they're few and far between, because not everyone is supposed to be that person or those people to you. So with regards to those, I happen to have many of those, and I'm really blessed that all of those like all of those other people. I'm really blessed that when someone else comes into the circle, if one of my friends doesn't like someone, I know that none of my friends will like them. But I also know if I meet someone and one of my friends really likes them, all of my friends will really like them.
Okay, thank you.
So what are your boundaries with your friends? What do you have? What are your boundaries? Because you have to have boundaries. So what are your friends' boundaries? Your boundaries with your friends?
Wow.
Boundaries. I mean, you don't do certain. I mean, I don't know if this is a good example, but if I'm dating someone, been in a relationship with someone, and then that relationship ends, I don't need to see them with either one of you.
That's a boundary.
What do you mean? Like as dating, or just like going out with, or what happened?
Dating.
Oh,
I don't care if you but what I'm saying is like they're all the people in the world, like, and we're friends. You then end up with like, so that's for me. I mean, and again, it's more of a, I don't want to say it's a superficial boundary because it is something that I feel strongly about, but it's an example of a boundary. Like I would not do that to one of you. Like that wouldn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
My ultimate boundary with my friends, my true friends that I know and love, if there's something that's going on with you about me, you need to tell me immediately. I don't want you to hold on to that. I need you to tell me right then. That's a boundary, because when you hold it and bring it up at some other time, that means that it's been in you. And so I've had a couple of situations where that has happened when I'm like, well, wait a minute, I'm your friend. You should be able to, tell me everything. And that's why the friend that I have is my friend, because they never hold back. No matter what it is, they tell me that they don't hold anything from me. It's particularly if I've done something to them or made them feel some kind of way. So that's a boundary I don't want anyone to cross.
For me, it's honesty. If you lie to me, if you're my friend and you lie to me, and I find out that you have lied to me,
bam,
that's it.
Well, that's all I have to do.
Bam. Okay. All right. Okay.
That's all I have to do is lie to you. And look at all you have to do, seriously. Because if I can't trust what is coming out of your mouth, for the simple things, how am I supposed to trust what comes out of your mouth when there is something intense or severe where I really need your trust or I really need to depend on what it is you're saying? And I just don't have time for that.
And loyalty is big to me as well. Like loyalty is a part of a true friendship to me. Like having my back and you knowing that I have your back. Like if somebody came to you and said, Alvin and Vash, Bobby was at some party talking about you all negatively, like you need to know that our relationship needs to be strong enough that you can look at Bobby. That's not Bobby. So you know what I'm saying? Like loyalty is there.
Okay.
And that level of understanding, right? Getting to know someone, because I exactly what you said, Bobby, I've said to other people. I'm like, if I'm arrested and someone says that I did something, if you're my friend, you need to know me well enough to know that you can go to them and say, he didn't do that. And you need to know that I'm not going to tell you a lie and tell you that I didn't do it if I did. Our chat is on fire. Are we going to address or connect with any of these? Because
we can, but you guys, I'm looking at the questions and I'm looking at you all's comment. And I'm trying to do a balancing act, okay? Because I know, we have some people backstage, and so I'm trying to, I can't come through the screen and say, hey, y'all, come on now. But
Carl, we see you. Mike, we see you. Rodney, we see
you.
Monica,
you guys, we promise we're gonna come down. We're gonna come back to you all. But thank you all, Carl. Thank you. So for chiming in, because I want to get some of these special guests in. But there's a couple of questions I want to get to before we move on. So let me ask this question. Since someone brought it up already, and I'm just gonna dive down. Does friends with benefits really work? Why or why not? And hopefully I don't have to tell anyone on this panel or in our group what are friends with benefits. Do friends with benefits really work?
Yes.
I think yes. I say yes. I say yes. And Polly?
Here's the thing with friends with benefits. And I think here's the thing with all friendships, really, all relationships. Communication and honesty. Right?
That piece.
You have to be able to say what is on your mind and what's going on. You have to be able to hear what someone else is saying. And then you have to be able to respond honestly in a way that serves you, and then everyone gets to adapt.
And you have to be in a place that when one of the persons say it's over, that you don't go to a cliff and blame them for making it over. It was a benefit.
Yeah, you just grab a bat and hit their car.
Benefits, and put your yellow dress on and hit the car. Okay? And
so kidding. I'm so kidding.
Okay. So let's keep it moving. Okay, but I'm looking at the viewers. Y'all kind of quiet. Y'all never had wait a minute.
You notice I'm not saying anything. I'm like, okay, you guys handle that one now.
Wait a minute. David said is friends with benefits equals. Well, It can be.
What is that question? Does friends with benefits
Is friends with benefits? Oh, is friends with benefits equals a? Oh, you mean that word that sounds like an instrument that you dig in the ground? I see what you're saying.
I don't
That
get
would be that would be a no. In my opinion, that would be a no. And he's talking about the instrument called the hoe.
Are you serious, Vash?
Huh?
Vash, did you miss it?
I so didn't get it because I'm thinking White House. I'm thinking like,
No.
I'm like, what's that to do with politics?
No.
Wait a minute. JJ said the friend is the benefit.
Well,
But JJ, see, look, okay, JJ, I need you to see JJ a little green. Put the green card down. Okay, put the green card down, JJ. You know, don't even try to go up in there.
I just think people have to be clear with one another. I agree with you. There have to be some clear boundaries and expectations about what's acceptable, and entering it knowing that it is possible that people get caught up in their feelings, and you could lose a friendship over those benefits, because I've seen that happen as well.
Well, then I'd like to also interject here that as gay men, and maybe I should just speak for myself, I have a lot of friends who started out as being the potential of being a dating partner, maybe then moved into friends with benefits, and then moved into just being friends when we realized that it was way better to just have the friendship than have anything else.
Yep.
And I think that as gay men, it's easier for us to make those transitions, and than it is for, let's say, heterosexuals, you know. But that level of intimacy actually helps to strengthen the friendship, because then you know each other on so many other levels, but still have the good friendship as the base.
Okay.
I will only push back and say I don't know if that's terribly different for heterosexual people than it is for gay, but
I think there's a stigma, and then there's jealousy in other relationships. If you've had a friend who you originally had an intimate relationship with, is your new partner jealous of them, or do they understand because they know what the vibe is?
But that sounds like another talk show. So speaking of
and a video.
And a video. Ladies and gentlemen, we have so many other questions that we wanted to go through, but it is important that we get on with the second half of our show. And that is, for this show, we decided to invite our besties on the show, ladies and gentlemen. So you know what? They're backstage. So please put your hands together and let's bring the besties onto the platform, please.
Okay, so I'm going to introduce my bestie. We're going to start with my bestie. Ladies and gentlemen of the He Said audience, I want to introduce to you my bestie, Michi Bowie.
Good evening.
Michi.
Hey, Michi.
Hey!
He said.
Welcome to the show.
I am Michi Bowie. As Bobby said, I have known him for 43 glorious years. And what was it that I should tell you something about him that you might not know? Oh, let me see. Many of you might not know that he is an incredible vocalist. Ask him to sing you a song.
Or not, but.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, Michi. Welcome.
Welcome. It's so good to see you on this side as opposed to just in the comments.
I know.
You're fantastic. You are fantastic. Well, I would like to introduce my friend Tammy, who I have known since we were in high school. We have a lot of things in common that we love to share and experience together. And one of the favorite things I love about Tammy is that she has made me an uncle. That is Jub, her sulcata tortoise, who is now 21 years old. And the little alien is Pino, which I gave her when we were in high school, that has continued to be a part of our relationship. But I truly love Tammy, and I'm so happy that you guys get to meet her.
Hey, Tammy.
Hey, Tammy.
Hi, everybody. Oh, it's so lovely to meet you.
Likewise, welcome to the show tonight. And since I am the last one to bring on my bestie, ladies and gentlemen, I have been knowing him for 32 years. And I made a comment earlier. I walked into an establishment and there he was behind the bar, and I was like, he's cute. His energy was like coming through the roof, and we became instant friends, ladies and gentlemen. Please welcome my brother, my friend, my confidant, Darren Cox Henderson to the He Said platform.
Hello.
He's so even keel. Okay, he's so even
I'm
keel.
trying.
He's so even
Hi,
keel.
everyone.
He's so even keel. He's
Nice
so
to
even
be
keel.
here. And
So,
thank you for
ladies and
throwing
gentlemen,
my Cox Henderson name in there.
huh?
I said thank you for throwing my Cox Henderson name in there. I appreciate that. Best man.
Well, look, I was your best man at your wedding, so I better say that, because I told Vash I'm going to hell if I don't put that whole title in there. Okay, so I'm good. But ladies and gentlemen, tonight we have a platform that we've decided that we're going to give each other, have selected 2 questions for the other's guests, and we're going to ask them the questions. And so, we got some time here, but let's go ahead and start with getting the questions. And the questions are centered around us individually. Do they really know us?
Yeah. So I want to begin. Okay, so Tammy and Darren, my first question for you is, and I'll start with Tammy. When did you know for sure that this friendship with Vash was a BFF, like best friend forever status? When did you first know that?
I think that you know how friendly he is. So I took a shot.
I don't, but I'll take it.
I took a shine to Vash right away. We worked together on a summer job 43 years ago, I believe. And we just got along automatically. We're able to be comfortable with each other. All the things that you were talking about that make good friendships. I feel that Vash and I have all that, and I'm lucky to be his pal.
Thank you.
That's so
Excellent.
sweet.
Darren, how about you?
Well,
thanks.
One particular moment. For me, I think it's kind of an accumulation of moments. It's been 32 years, so okay, that's probably one of the earlier ones. We were very, very young. This picture is being shown, but
Okay.
yeah. So the relationship has just like grown over the years, and as Alvin mentioned, I asked him to be my best man. When my husband and I decided that we wanted to have a child, when our son came to us being, a foster, Alvin was the first person that I called. I think I'm positive, the first person that came over and saw our son Timothy. He didn't think that he was going to be pushing the stroller, but he was right there. So it's just an accumulation of shared moments and memories that I always knew that was going to be forever. And each one kind of adds to that. So it just gets stronger and stronger.
That's excellent. My next question for you very quickly, because I know we have other questions also, is Darren, I'll start with you this time. What do you think is the quality or characteristic about you that Alvin values most?
Honesty and being completely authentic with him. I can tell him anything. He can tell me anything. It's just kind of like, I don't want to, it's just equally balanced. There can be times that we call up each other and I'm feeling you, you're feeling me. And he knows when I need to talk. I know when he needs to talk. And we can share absolutely everything. And I can tell him anything. So it's honesty and being completely authentic and completely raw with each other.
All right. Tammy, for you, the quality that you think Vash values most in you?
I would hope that it is that I have a sincere want to help others, to be of service, especially for those that are disenfranchised in some way or underdogs in some way. And I hope that he values my wry sense of humor.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I was ready to cry. Where's my little yellow rag? I love it.
Right on.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Right on. Well, Tammy, we brought you in without giving you the opportunity to actually say the one thing about me that most people wouldn't know. Did you have something you wanted to share?
I got lots.
I know.
Okay.
I'm ready, Tammy. Come on, girl.
Okay, I'm gonna pitch you an easy one, and that's it. You might not know that Vash loves bluegrass music.
Oh my God, no.
Oh my gosh,
That's
so
what I
true.
thought.
Thank you. See,
But it's all good.
you're a forever friend. Okay,
That's
because
so true. That's
yeah,
so true.
you are a forever friend.
That's so
I wouldn't have thought that.
No.
Thank you. Thank you,
I was
guys. Thank
surprised myself, but we can groove.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, I do. It's so amazing. Bluegrass music. Let me just say, I mean, you know what? That's a different show, but I do love bluegrass. Okay, so I have questions for Michi and for Darren. I'll start with you, Michi.
Yes.
What is it about Bobby that has kept you friends for so long?
Well, you know, we have this word, trust, you know, and we live and walk in our truth, and we are able to be honest and, as you all say, raw, you know, and the love and an unbreakable bond. 43 years. We have never had an argument in the 43 years that we've known each other. And I knew the first day I met him that it was going to be a lifetime. You know, there's a reason, season, lifetime. I knew that it was going to be a lifetime, and I told him that. He didn't know it, but I knew it.
Yeah, nice.
Here we are 40 some odd years later. So
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Darren, what is it about Alvin that has kept you friends for so long?
And I can almost kind of say the same things as Michi, because Alvin and I use the same terminology, you know, the season. And, you know, we all have friends for a season. Alvin is not a seasonal friend. He is that lifetime friend. And when he was describing, you know, being in the hospital earlier and that friend that he'd want to be there, I was actually thinking about that same type of circumstance, but I'm going to take it a step further. And, you know, my husband is watching, but, you know, if there was that time, when that time comes that we're all going to leave this earth,
yeah.
if I'm going first, I'm going to want him there, unless I'm hit by a bus. But if I'm, you know, laying in that hospital bed, my husband's going to be there and Alvin's going to be there. And if it's vice versa, I am going to be there.
Mm.
It's that bond. I know it's taking it all the way to the end. He is that best friend.
Yep.
That's beautiful. And Alvin, you just heard, do not take a bus ride with Darren.
Baby. Look, okay, again.
I didn't know we'd be together.
We're gonna be together. Wherever he is, I want to be where you are.
You go, okay, right
okay,
on.
I want to be where you are. In my
Right
Michael
on.
Jackson voice. Yes, okay.
Right on. All right, so I'll do what Bobby did, and I'll start with you, Darren, with my second question.
Okay.
If you threw a party, would Alvin show up early to help set up, stay late to clean up, both, or neither?
Okay. Well, this is not the thing that I was prepared to tell you that you didn't know about Alvin, because I'm assuming all of y'all know that Alvin is an event planner, right? Okay. So not only would he be there early, but, you know, I'm about to turn 59. We're already talking about 60. And if there's a party, Alvin is already planning to plan the party. So yeah, he'd be there early. He would be there at the end. You know, we're 13 months out and he's already there. So I think that answers the question. He's there.
With a costume change.
And I
We
should
know
point
him.
out in 3 different outfits. 3 different outfits at the event on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's my brother-in-law. Alvin is family to Darren. Yes, I am, and I love my brother-in-law. Yes, I do. Ooh, okay, that's another talk show, brother-in-law. Don't let me go down that road. Go ahead. All right. So thank you. Oh, Michi.
Yes. So he would be there in the beginning. He would be there in the middle. He would be there in the end. We would be the last two standing. Okay. Trust and believe.
We often are.
I just picture it. I picture you and Michi. I just had a visual. I had a visual.
There's a picture of our group in our aprons.
Right.
Yes, I had a picture. I had a visual of you and Michi being there at the beginning and at the end. Okay.
Mhm.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you. All right. Well, my questions are for Michi and excuse me, hold on, because I'm laughing. Okay, hold on 1 second. My questions, because okay, Alvin, stop laughing. Why am I laughing? My questions are for Michi and Tammy. All right. Whew, okay. What is the best advice? And I'll go to Tammy first. What is the best advice that Vash has given you, and how did that advice impact you personally, professionally, and or spiritually?
Hmm.
I think the advice that was the most useful was very recently, where we started maybe 3 years ago or so, 4 years ago, planning a spiritual diner together. And as I'm going through all of these different changes, learning how to make videos and everything like that, I kind of felt like I was complaining that, hey, how come my friends aren't tuning in and watching? I always support them. And then he said to me, and this was the good advice, maybe it's best if they're not tuning in because you don't have to act like you're performing or living up to some expectation to please them. And that really put my mind at ease. So that was pretty good. Um, it helped me professionally because I have to grow and learn all these things that I didn't know about putting the show together. And spiritually has been another thing because since we both um, started on our spiritual diner and have increased communication about that, I can't believe the things that I'm manifesting. And I think that Bosch would agree with that too. It's happening for him, where I feel like I've won the lottery or something. So I think that me going out on this venture with Bosch's support has been super beneficial for professionally, spiritually, and personally. I've had to be brave and do things I didn't know how to do. And I'm growing in the process, and I'm grateful for that.
He certainly has that, as they say in my church, he has planted that seed in me too, Tammy. So I know what you mean. So, Michi, same to you. What is the best advice that Bobby has given you, and how did that advice impact you personally, professionally, and spiritually?
One of the things I'm going to say is something that I watched him do over the years and that I have learned from him. And that is to always think before you speak and not act, because I am one that I will act, and depending on the situation. But as I watch him navigate the world, Bobby will always lead with love. I'm learning, I have love in my heart. Whew, but that Harlem will come out of me.
Come on, real talk, Michi. I hear you,
You know,
girl. Look,
and I'm that one, because I'm gonna go for it. But what I have learned as I age so gracefully, that you think before you act, and he does that. He always. I don't care what the situation is. It can be professionally, it can be spiritually, it can be personally, whatever it is. He will always think, and and I have grown because in this role, that I'm in as the dean of students here, oof, sometimes I really want to act, but I will think
mhm.
and I catch myself. And I know it's, because I watch him, and I admire that. I said, okay, I'm trying to get there. And I tell him all the time, I said, you'll be graceful. I might not be, but you know,
Well, thank you. Well, I'm going to stick with you, Michi, and ask this last question.
okay.
If you could pick any animal in the world to best describe the character and personality of Bobby, what would that animal be, and why did you select that animal?
Well, as I researched the animal species, there was two things I was looking for, Alvin. Okay.
I'm
And what
so
I came
old.
upon was a dolphin. Why is that? Dolphins are one of the most intelligent species. Bobby's brilliant. Okay. Uh, and dolphin, I love the way it moves through water. And I watch him as he moves through life. And as I said, he will always, always lead with love, honey. Always. Okay.
You know what? I never would have thought of dolphin, but Michi, thank you so much. I'm looking at him in a whole new light now. Okay. Yes, I am. Swim, Bobby, swim. Well,
Smooth and
Tammy,
shiny. That's what I see.
Tammy, I'm
See.
coming to you. What animal? Let me read the whole question to you. If you could pick any animal in the world to best describe the character and personality of Vash, what would that animal be, and why did you select that animal?
Well, it's really hard to pick just one animal, especially if you know me, but I'm going to go for a tropical weather animal, and it's the capybara. You know what a capybara is?
Girl, I wish I had known because I would have shot a picture up. I have no idea.
I love
Check
that.
it out later. It's the world's largest rodent. They're common in South America, and I have a soft spot for rodents. I have had a lot. I rescue gophers, but the capybara is known for being loved by every animal. So when you go on YouTube and check it out, you're going to see turtles hanging out with it and all different kind of animals, even alligator. Isn't that cute? Even alligators like the capybara. And so everyone likes them. They're relaxed and adorable. And so that's why I chose the capybara.
Well, thank you. And now I know what a capybara is, and I will always associate you all with either the dolphin or the capybara. And I don't have an animal, so I'm
Smooth.
really good. Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. Look, Tammy, Michi, and Darren. I'm speaking for Vash and Bobby, but thank you all for joining the show tonight. This was a show that we actually Vash and I had created some time ago. But once Bobby came on to the panel, have joined the family, it just made good sense to revise and bring this show back. And we did it with some flavor. You know, we added some sauce, and you all were the sauce. And so
All right.
it was absolutely
Wow.
incredible. Thank you. Thank
Okay,
you.
happy sauce.
Thank you.
Thank
for
you.
having
Happy
us.
Thank
sauce.
you.
Happy sauce.
Blessings.
Okay.
So, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, these are like, I want to do real quick. If our producers will do this real quick, can we do a run of images for Michi real quick before we go? I want to say this to our producer. We got a couple of minutes. I just want them to see the whole Bobby and Michi experience. If we could do that, and I know my producer looking at me like,
Very quickly narrate.
okay, he said, no, I just want them to go on and do it. But if there we go. Okay. All right, let's keep going.
The day I graduated from Howard.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, beautiful.
On the vineyard. Yes. There we are working after a party in our aprons.
Love it.
On the vineyard. Actually at my mother's homegoing service. And Michi with my mother. She was a great support, and my mother loved her, and they had a very loving relationship.
And Vash, do you want to run images of you and Tammy real quick?
Sure. This is Tammy and me at the David Bowie exhibit in Brooklyn.
Okay, we got 15 seconds. Keep it moving.
Okay.
Okay.
In Monterey at the auto show. Jub Jub and Pino Pino. Tammy took this picture. I was in 9th grade with my little gay crew in Monterey at Tammy's place with cocktails that took 2 days to make because of all the accoutrement in the Bloody Mary. Pino Pino, because we love him. And then us as we host Spiritual Diner that airs on Wednesdays, where we talk about all things spiritual, manifestations, and all that stuff.
Well, thank you. And last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, this is my bestie. There's another bestie on here, George, but he couldn't be here. But this is Darren and I when we were young, tiny tenderonis. You can keep it moving, producer. This is us at Gay Pride when Gay Pride was safe to go to and you wouldn't get shot. This is us in Canada doing one of those parties that we do. This is my first time being at a soccer game with my nephew and him. Graduation was huge for me. They were there every step of the way. This is on his wedding day. He won a competition, Freedom to Wed, won a $100,000 wedding package. This is the family that's there after that. And this is he and I at the wedding. And the last picture is he and I at the Beyonce concert in 2016. Thank you all for being on the show tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Tammy, Darren, and Michi. And ladies and gentlemen, our words of the week. One of the most valuable gifts in life is a loyal friend. Never
here.
forget that. Never forget that. We look forward to seeing you next week. And after next week, you guys, we're going on a little vacation.
Little
So
hiatus.
you guys got to tune in. Oh,
Oh,
bye, Vash.
Oh.
Bye, Vash. Bye, Vash. Have a
bye,
good night.
Vash.
We will see you all on the next episode of He Said.
He said.
He said.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Bye.